Well, a lot of you guys seem to like that last Rex 3 video, getting it out of the snow, bringing it into the somewhat warmth, taking it apart and getting ready to put it in the best condition it's ever been in. So we're going forward today with that. We're going to get that broken front differential out. We're going to take it apart, see what it needs, do a little bit of a cost analysis on if it makes sense to repair the front diff or if we should just get a new assembly. A lot of times that's what people do, is they just poop can the broken Smart-Lok diffs and they just bolt a new one in. But I'm curious to see what went bad in this thing, so we're going to get that out of the machine, tear it apart, and see what I destroyed. So I've got our work area cleaned up decently from when I took the front suspension apart on this thing. But on the topic of front suspension, I did want to show you guys something. So me personally, maybe it's my OCD or maybe it's the fact of what I'm going to show you guys, but when I do a project, I like to stick with one brand as much as possible. Now, for me, it's probably OCD, but in this instance, you'll see why. So I'm going to show you guys the upper control arm on this machine. It's from CA Technologies. Pretty much most of the suspension on this is from CA Technologies, but I have a gusset kit on this machine that's from another brand, and there's some interference. So I'll show you kind of what happened here. So here's our CA Technologies upper control arm, and this comes with their bushings, everything. These are pretty much ready to bolt on. You just screw the grease zerks in once you get them. And you can see this bushing has a grease zerk in it, and this one doesn't. Well, it used to, but you can see it's kind of broken off in there. And because of that, some nastiness got in there, and some grease wasn't able to get in there. So you can see this bushing, there's not really any movement. This one, however, super loose, and you can see it's all worn out. So on the couple rides I did, there was just a bunch of stuff that was allowed to get in there. You might be asking, what happened there? Let's take a look up front. So there's the broken Smart-Lok diff, but we still have most of this gusset kit installed. This one's actually pretty nice piece. It's not a CA piece, but that doesn't mean it can't be nice. It's got this plate above here that kind of integrates the back of the frame into the front bulkhead area, which kind of makes it a pain to get this out. We're going to have to remove that. No big deal, though. But you can kind of see this spot right here and how it's notched. It's designed for clearance for the grease zerk, but it was designed for clearance for that manufacturer's upper control arms, or stock ones, not the CA ones. So those two didn't necessarily get along, and the gusset kit won the battle. It ripped that grease zerk right out of there. So just my opinion, if you're going to do a project like a front suspension kit, I would advise just sticking with one brand. That's why I like CA Technologies. They have a bunch of parts available, like complete coverage for your entire machine, so you don't necessarily need to mix and match. So if you guys are starting from scratch, that's what I do. Stick with one brand. Just my tech tip for today. Get on to getting this front diff out. So got our drain set up under here. Nice 5-gallon bucket works pretty good for this. Also can't find my metric Allen socket, so got an Allen wrench. It's 5mm, little extension, little leveraggio, and this was also leaking fluid all over my trailer, so I don't know how much is actually gonna be in here. See if we can see how nasty it is. Might not be able to. Ready? Ooh. Yeah, it doesn't look great. Doesn't look great at all. I'll get a little paper towel and we can wipe it off on there, see how bad it looks. All right, see if I can do this one-handed. That fluid looks bad. I'd have to check the exact mileage on this unit, but I think it's somewhere around 800 or so. And I've changed this fluid before, so that's cool. Yeah, I think it's pretty bad, guys. Yuck. Always watching. Always. So there wasn't very much fluid in here. Yeah. Not much. But these don't take that much anyways. So I'm going to throw that drain plug back in. And then I'm going to take this top plate off and see if I can get this to, well, come out with just taking that out. I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough clearance. Maybe I can pop this side piece off here, and that'll provide enough clearance to get it out. I don't know. I'm just looking to take as little out as possible, but we'll see what we got to do. Front diff's out. We're going to take this over to our workbench and get this thing pulled apart, see what we can see. Also, look at the nastoidness in here where that differential sits. We're going to take a little bit of time and clean that up as well. Yuck. Bunch of fluid, bunch of mud, tons of gross stuff in there. So I think this might be our new driveline disassembly repair area. I don't know. Old Turbo 400 here out of the Badlack. Rolled sprag, amongst other things wrong with it. Maybe that'll get fixed someday, but probably not. So we're just gonna take this differential apart and see what's inside. So first thing I'm gonna start with is taking the electronics off this, just to get them out of the way so they don't get damaged. Take this side off of here. It's a little nasty, but it all needs to be washed up anyways, so I'm not too concerned about it. Maybe I'll just scrape it real quick. Now there's no gasket on here, so this area I'm prying on really isn't a sealing surface. There's a big O-ring in here, and that's where the sealing takes place. Now I have had those leak before. I've used an anaerobic sealer around this case to get it to stop leaking. Place your bets in the comments. What do you think's wrong? So we've got some metal pieces. I'm trying to figure out exactly where the pinion is. Can't really see. The case is kind of chewed up by the pinion, and this is probably where my leak was. So yeah, this case is pretty chewed up on the inside. The side cover was chewed up down there. You can see on the back side of this pinion, kind of chewed up there as well. Bunch of metal material. I'll show you guys close up of this after I do some more looking, but I'm thinking probably just gonna end up with a whole new differential. It's my first time really diving into one of these, so I'm not sure how far we're gonna be able to get without pulling bearings, etc. But I'm just gonna tear it down as much as I can and see what's going on in here. So our the gears inside of here, like I said, the pinion itself is, I'll show you guys that, not looking in great shape, but the what would be like the side gears inside this carrier are looking, from what I'm seeing, pretty bad. Not really sounding that great. So I'm just going to try and take this apart a little bit more, see if we can get this all apart and can show you guys what we got going on in here. So here's our center pin. Not sure what we're going to be able to get out. I think it's like we probably need to take this bearing off to get the ring gear split apart. That's pressed on, so yeah. Dude, we're going to have a talk about you showing up when all the work's done. All right, I'll try and zoom in and show you guys some of the damage here. So you can see on the case right here, all of that is chewed up. On the back of the pinion, which I think there's something binding up in there because this just not, doesn't, how it turns, but those teeth are excessively worn. I think there's something inside there. I'd have to pop that out. But those teeth are junk. So over here on the side cover, you can see that crack there. I mean, I pulled the piece off with my fingers, so it was barely on there. That's probably why I was leaking fluid on the trailer. So that part's junk. And then this is going to be difficult to see, guys. I'm going to go get a light so we can hopefully see what I'm talking about. So again, I can't fully disassemble this because I don't have a way to pull this bearing off the outside, but you can hopefully, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Sorry, guys. But if we zoom in, you can kind of, let me see if I can position this light. This is difficult. The side gears are like all stripped out. It's not really focusing, but you're going to have to believe me. That gear right there should have teeth on it. That the spider gear is on the top, right on, and it's just all stripped. So, well, it's the next day. Spent a little bit of time browsing Can-Am parts diagrams, checking out some prices for parts to fix this front differential. And it's sounding to me like best bet's just going to be to get a whole new front differential. So I priced out the case, the side cover, a new pinion, what else? The main problem was one of the side gears. So there's two side gears in there, and I think it's the one that is for sure messed up. Can't really see the other one unless we were able to fully disassemble the unit and get a better look at it. But the one is just an unavailable part. You can't order that part by itself. So maybe there's someone out there that's parted one of these out that might have it. But even before you factor in new bearings and seals and stuff like that for the case, the cover, the pinion, a couple other small things, the seal or the O-ring for the one side of the cover, it's like $500. And that's not including the side gears. So those were, I don't even remember what they were, another $100. So I browsed eBay quick and a couple other guys I know. I mean, we can get a whole new Smart-Lok ready to go, bolt in this thing for well under $1,000, like probably $900 with shipping and everything. So I'm thinking that's going to be the way to go. In a more perfect world, it would have been a cheap fix, but hey, it's just not. Sucker exploded. So that thing's done. And so I'm going to get on to ordering that replacement differential for this. That's kind of what I was leaning towards doing anyways. It's just going to be a lot quicker. Just bolt that thing in and get this thing going back together. And then on the topic of going back together, I've got this halfway cleaned out. I'm going to do a little bit better job. Now that I have all the mud and oil out of this, the rest of this small stuff can dry up a little bit. Probably hit it with a shop vac and just spray some degreaser on it one more time and wipe it out. That'll give a nice clean surface to bolt that new differential to. You can see there's a lot of nastiness in there that came out. That's super gross. So that's the verdict on this part of the Rex 3 project. New front differential going in. We got a lot of other stuff to do on this machine. A lot of stuff has to come apart yet. A lot of stuff has to go back together. Just how it is. Maybe we'll treat this thing with a little bling bling too, you know what I mean? More on that later, but Appreciate you guys tuning into this video and all the other videos I post. If you want to support the channel in additional amount, check out the membership feature. There's different tiers, get you some cool perks, and also rrutvshop.com. Ton of good side-by-side parts on there. A lot of the stuff I run on the Rex 3s there. And also there's merch. Pick yourself up some merch, hats, shirts, good stuff. But that's going to be it for this video. Again, appreciate your support in this matter, and we'll see you in a couple days.